Rutgers fans, I did tell you, you can't get and you shouldn't get too excited about this basketball team. Why? Because we haven't put together a true string of consistency since the beginning of the season. Tonight was no different. Rutgers loses a heartbreaker at the buzzer. And that phrase, of course, will forever live in my head in a good way, but not tonight. 84-82, 3 seconds left, inbounds, deep behind the arc. They launch it, they hit it, Rutgers loses, but we were on our way to losing that game, or at least letting a short victory slip away minutes before that, 7 minutes, 8 minutes before that, 10 minutes before that. Rutgers came out playing really good offensive basketball and really good defensive basketball, right? The press in the first half was very effective. The intensity was effective. Michigan was not shooting well from beyond the arc. Their efficiency, even, when they were getting it into the paint and making things happen, was one thing, but they couldn't find good shots consistently. They were struggling. Rutgers, though, and it was interesting today, Harper, 17 points. So, not one of these incredible stellar games, but a solid, good game from Harper, some highlight reel stuff. Ace, a nice shot towards the end there, a respectable stat line, 9 boards, not terrible. But times when you needed Ace, once again, as he goes through his growing pains, he's a young guy. He wasn't quite there in the clutch. And this is, Martini hits shots early in the game. But you know who I miss? I miss the Akwazi Yaboa days, where you knew you had a guy, Geo Baker in the season where he was the shot maker, Ron Jr. towards the end of his career. These the guys that at the end of the game, when you need the shot, when you need the clutch bucket, that are going to get it. And again, I've been saying, who do you give it to? Obviously, probably Dylan, right? But who do you give it to on this team that you can count on? And while guys looked good and shined at different parts of this game, nobody really shined at the end or down the stretch in the second half when we needed it most. Tyson Acuff, Lathan Somerville, out there scoring points too, in double figures on the score sheet, 17 for Lathan. These guys stepped up. We're always wondering who's the third guy. Well, there was 2 third guys today. But in the second half, again, I'm saying, we can never figure out with Pike and with this team, is it the defense? Is it the offense? Who's the third guy? What's the recipe for consistency with this team? We still haven't been able to find the recipe for consistency with this team. And it was no more evident than in the second half when down the stretch we are going through a scoring drought. And we were up at points by 12 points, 10 points. And should have been able to hold Michigan at bay because they were still missing shots. They weren't capitalizing, but we just could not get a smart shot, could not buy a bucket. And the inconsistency reared its head, and it's top to bottom inconsistency with everybody on the team reared its head at the worst time. And then you had defensive breakdowns, as the offense broke down, which is typical of this team. The intensity falls off a bit, the guys get tired, and once again, a team catches up and we can't close. And there were signs of this early in the season. Even in the exhibition, there were signs of having trouble closing, trouble with the defense closing the game, and it rears its head again. But look, you should have known this kind of. I know people got very excited because you win 2 games, and I know that, accepting that this season is probably going to be, I think most people have accepted it's going to be a disappointment in some way, shape, or form, but maybe clinging to hope that some respectability or some glimmer of optimism can permeate this season. I think fans are fans. You got to cling on to something, but it's almost fitting that we lose in the way we lost. It wasn't a blowout. It wasn't a lackluster effort. It's just, hey, it's not meant to be, man. And so, look, Big Ten tournament chances still fairly good. I mean, we beat Minnesota. We're seeding is another story, but we're going to the Big Ten tournament. Unless let's not talk about that. But the higher seed, the pipe dream of finishing off, with some stellar run is dead now. With that, well, no, look, it's a respectable loss at a buzzer on the road against a team that could win the Big Ten, right? I mean, it's not a devastating loss. It's just in the context of the season. Like I said when I talked to you guys yesterday, the time for moral victories is over. You need to just do it. And this was a game where they could have, but they didn't. And again, for a lot of the same reasons with the inconsistencies, and these are the things that happen, and it's frustrating. It's frustrating for sure. We were out rebounded again. I mean, it's the same story. We were out rebounded overall, I think, by 10 or 12 boards. Again, you're on the road. We talked about it. The home team's going to get the whistle. They got to the free throw line a lot more than us, but they struggled shooting at some points, and our opportunities were there. That's just par for the course. I know people are going to talk about the double dribble they missed at the end. That sucks. It does. And it looked pretty blatant, but that's, you had ample opportunity to not have the game even be that close. You had ample opportunity to be up more. You had ample opportunity to do a lot of things that you didn't do. So blaming it on that last call is, a little crazy. And the ample opportunity as far as this whole season's concerned, not just ample opportunity in this game, So I'm not going to sit there and play that game because there's so much more that went wrong here. Although, it is what it is. You're also, they're at home. We benefited from the home whistle in a couple of our victories. But, the same inconsistencies, right? If offense is going well, we're doing well. But out-rebounded, cold spells on the offensive side of the ball, no semblance of who to go to, no semblance of what type of offense is going to work best. And then breakdowns on the defensive side allowed Michigan back, and then an unfortunate shot at the end of the game, which again, they don't make that shot, and we're celebrating a huge road win in conference that changes a little bit anyway, a little bit. Let's not get crazy, but changes a little bit the trajectory or outlook that we had here. But that wasn't meant to be, and it was several minutes in the making, down the stretch in the second half. And it's been several games in the making, just given how this team has played and what we can expect from this team. So frustrating that guys, even like Martini, who comes out doing well in the first half, guys like Acuff, he did hit 2 out of 3 free throws down the stretch there, but, guys step up, they start doing well, Somerville and Acuff scoring, doing their part, but then Ace is not as good as we've seen him, and he hasn't been. And guys can't be consistent and clutch at the end when you need them most, and that's been the story of the year, and that's the kind of thing you're going to get, I feel, with Steve Peichel trying to assemble teams for 1 year at a time. It's just difficult for him to do. It's not his style. Guys are finally a little bit getting the hang of his defensive philosophies towards the end of the season, and you saw it in the first half, but it's hard to be consistent. It's hard to be high intensity. It's hard to play at a high level in that system when you don't have the years of development that he needs. And so this is the result that you get. We're on to Purdue. It is what it is. I think people should just start settling into the fact that season is what it is. And, honestly, it sounds terrible, but maybe this is the best thing for Rutgers fans out there. I mean, if we had won this game, I think optimism, potential scenarios, daydreams would run rampant. And I think at the end of the day, where we end up is probably not going to be much different, which isn't going to be something people are very excited about. So maybe better to just rip the Band-Aid off. Now, again, you could tell me to dine on crow. I can't wait. I hope by the end of my St. Patty's feast should just be crow. I'm going to drink green crow. I'm going to fry green crow with some green eggs in it. Give it to me. Green eggs and Taylor ham. Give me the crow. But I this is what I see, and I said it about Michigan too. So I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm eating crow. but it's not what I think. Just is what it is, man. Tough loss on a late night, another Peacock special. It is what it is. The announcer, the commentator, I don't know who it was, but I dug his, the hip hop references, for people of my age wasn't bad. So I guess we got that going for us. If you haven't done so on the way out, please click that subscribe button. Let's get to 900 subscribers so we could get to 1,000 when next football season starts. The artwork behind me is my picture of Atlantic City. So, hey, check out Exquisite Grit on Instagram for more of my photography work. Other than that, guys, man, I'm with you. We're suffering together. It is what it is. RU Nation remains strong in support, even though we are used to suffering. And I will talk to you all very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Larry K is out.